Hi,
Hi,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Oh, I've got my work background. Let me.
I was like, wow, you look like you're in a cool place. She's got like a starry, I don't know, futuristic cityscape background with stars and her IDC logo. That's cool.
That's right. Yeah.
I've been in a couple
All right.
meetings where people have Disney World set up in the back and all of that.
Yeah, I've heard all kinds of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in trying any of them myself.
No,
I'll be
I
happy
know.
just to make sure that I get what I need to get done.
Right.
But I'm glad to know that, the voiceover it works fully compatible. Just a matter of me getting to know the layouts.
Brian, mute your computer screen and leave your phone on audio, but just mute your computer screen so you don't hear the echo.
I changed over to Cashman Park,
Oh,
so I'd be
Lisa,
local.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So is Brian in? Is he
Brian's
officially
in. Brian is the blob voice that we're hearing in the background.
Maybe Brian, take your earpiece out, because I know sometimes they cause problems with the Zoom meetings sometimes. I don't know.
I'm not sure if he can actually hear us right now because he's not visually responding. I'm going to see if I can.
Brian, take your earpiece out.
Good job,
Earpiece
Jenny.
out. Is it? Well, we can officially start since there's four of us, right? There's four of us?
Yes, there are four of us.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can count. Hopefully, though, Sean will be joining us, and Rich. I know Chris won't. He was just coming back from the hospital today. Not sure what about, but he won't be joining us. But hopefully, Sean, our newest member, will be zooming in, and hopefully Rich will remember.
Great.
We can start, and we can, Andy, start recording, I suppose.
Yep, it's already up. Yep, it's already up and running. We can see that.
All right. Okay, so does anyone have anything they want to bring up before we kind of hear from Bob? Like, actually, Lisa, I have a question for you. Have you been downtown at all?
No, you know what? I have not been downtown to check out the Jersey barriers and things like that, but I plan on it, but the weather, every time I think I'm going to do it, the weather doesn't cooperate. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm glad to hear that they're painting the Jersey barriers. I saw that in the paper.
Yeah, I did hear about that. That should make things look a little.
Yeah. Has it been difficult to navigate, or?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because I don't know. I haven't heard from anybody yet. You know, I'm sort of waiting to hear feedback. So I know Bob said that he was sort of in charge of enforcing that. Is that right, Bob?
The distances down there?
Yeah.
I've been down there to review things and make adjustments, but no real enforcement yet.
How's it been looking?
It's been okay. It's been good.
Yeah. You haven't had to talk to too many businesses in terms of correcting them, or?
About 4 of them, and they made immediate corrections.
Say that again?
There was about 4 of them. They made immediate corrections.
Oh, good. Okay. So I think, businesses are going to be responsive if you're pointing things out. That's good. We just got to stay on top of it, because I know it's a concern for a lot of people.
Right.
You know, it just, and when you have restaurant staff, you know, it's different every day. You don't know who's putting things out, you know, and they don't necessarily, you know, it's very easy to happen where they're just putting things just slightly in the wrong spot that day. And then the next thing you know, that's going to create a barrier. So as long as all the businesses are really aware of that aspect, you know, not just that, okay, here's the rules you have to follow, but here's why, you know, then they'll be cognizant, hopefully, and make sure that their staff is cognizant, ideally. So that's good. But yeah, I was hoping that that maybe Chris had been downtown or maybe you, Lisa, but we'll just wait and hope for some better weather for you to go enjoy some of it.
Yeah.
Especially the couple new places opening up. I don't know if you're a fan of Tuscan. But,
I am. That's opening Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been. I've been to the boardwalk. I just haven't been uptown.
Yeah.
It's a little scary when there's. I'm not terribly fearful, but there's a lot of people walking around without masks, and I know we don't need them outdoors. But if you're gonna come within 2 feet of me, wear a mask. So anyway,
it's tough. So yeah, I mean, I do think a lot of people are being extra cautious anyway. So the barriers that might be created might not necessarily end up getting confronted anyway, so to speak, because a lot of folks aren't even taking the risk. But I do want to keep an eye on it for sure. So, Bob, do you have anything for us?
Not much. There hasn't been any complaints. There hasn't been much activity. DPS has done a few of the summer projects. The Story Ave sidewalk at Kelleher. They improved that whole intersection there with the ramps.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yep. Done a lot of line painting and things like that. But no complaints or concerns, which is nice.
That's great. I'm still trying to find out about the swings. I know the park's just recently reopened, but I'm hoping that is on their radar to be done right away. I did email Lisa Reed, but I know she's very busy and they're very short staffed, as every department is, and limited on what they can get done. But, the swings came in and they were going to, they almost had the work order to hang them that week, and then COVID hit, and all the parks closed. So now that they're open, because we did initially suggest, is it still a good idea to get them hung up while you can? But they weren't feeling that was a good idea, and I ended up agreeing that hanging new equipment wasn't exactly counterproductive to keeping people out of the playground. But now that they're open, I'm hoping that that's the priority, because it isn't a big deal. It's not a huge project. They have the swings. They're ready to hang. So I'm just waiting to see it happen. And I haven't heard anything. So I don't know if they already have. I don't know if there's work orders for them. But Bob, maybe if you see Lisa in passing, you could ask her. Maybe.
I'm not much passing, but if I send her an email,
Right.
Yeah,
City Hall is not actually technically open. Right. I'm sorry.
We're open by appointment only.
Well, hopefully she emails me back, but it never hurts to maybe you could email her and ask.
Sure.
Maybe you'll get a quicker response who's your colleague. But hopefully that will get, finished up. I do know that the city council voted on some CPA funds, and part of that was for the Bartlett Mall and their playground project with the accessible playground. It didn't seem like a terribly high amount. I think it was only for $100,000, and it was for the whole project, not just the playground, but the whole Mall project. And so I'm not really sure where things are at with the playground, but we'll just kind of see as it comes. I do want to bring up the meeting moving forward with doing Zooms for a while. Andy asked me to put that on the agenda so we can sort of solidify that this, will work. Now, Andy, let me ask you this. Will you have to host and participate in every meeting?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Or is it something that Bob could take on?
We looked into that actually. At the present time, that we have a cap on the number of people who can host the city's Zoom, account and so forth. That was a sort of administrative decision between the mayor's office and the clerk's office about how to handle these things. So
Sure.
right now, I'm going to continue doing them. So if it's all right with you, if we just schedule a time that I'm available,
Okay.
whatsoever. But if that becomes an issue at some point, let me know. Right, they may expand the number of people who are using the Zoom account based on how long this COVID thing lasts. But
Right.
but as of right now, it was just sort of agreed that I would cover your board because there's sort of distribution of workload for different boards.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I feel bad because I know, it's not exactly in your job.
No, don't worry.
Andy, is it a possibility at all that we can set up a recurring, like if this time, what date?
Well, I
is
think
it
that's
right
what
now?
we're getting at. Yeah.
Is it, no, I'm just saying like, so today, today is the second Thursday of the month. So can we ballpark the second Thursday of the month at 5 o'clock as our kind of target meeting date, or is that too obscure?
That works perfectly fine for me. So that would make it for August. That would make it the 13th. And yeah, there's no conflict there really. Generally at 5 o'clock because although I sometimes I'm meeting at 4, I can easily get out at to make sure it's not a problem. Yeah, that should work fine for me if you want to just start a regular time.
Okay.
Does that work for everybody else?
Yeah, that works for me.
Sure.
That's what I was going to suggest because this, it keeps us at least still on the second Thursday of each month, which I know is what we all have carved out. And as long as we're all okay with it just being bumped up an hour and a half.
I assume that we have to use the city's Zoom because,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And is that for open meeting
Yes.
reasons? Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
100%.
Understood.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it does kind of make things a little bit more. I mean, it's not terribly complicated or anything, but it just it'll be fine. So if we all agree, then second Thursday of the month at 5 Zooms should be fine for everybody. I think it should be fine for Sean and for Rich. I'll obviously check with them, but I'm not sure why they're not zoomed in now.
So Jenny, and maybe Andy, you can help answer this question, but I can see on the participant list that there are 8 participants, although it's listing you twice, but it also shows Sean Flaherty as a name, but I don't see any.
Yeah, it looks like Sean is in the attendees list as a member of the general public.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he has signed in, and if he's a member of the general public, he wouldn't be able to comment, right? Oh, he just popped up.
Yeah, I've just adjusted it so he's able to unmute himself if you'd like.
Okay, great.
Oh, good. Okay. So
I'm
Sean's
here.
Hey,
Oh, great.
Sean.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Sean. So since Sean's here, everybody, welcome Sean Flaherty. He is our newest
Thank you.
member to the Disability Commission, even though he was approved months ago. Unfortunately, it was right at that time when we canceled meetings. So here he is joining us for the first time via the Zoom. So thank you so much, Sean, for joining the commission, for making that commitment. We're so happy to have you. I am so thrilled that you're back on the commission and that you're with us. So thank you.
He's back muted for himself, Jenny, just so you know, but that's okay.
Okay.
And Jenny, about Sean, you said welcome back. Was Sean with the commission earlier?
Yes, not when I was on here, but he was on the Disability Commission years ago, before my time. And he was on the commission for quite a while. Sean, can you unmute yourself?
How's that? Does that work?
There we go.
Do you hear me?
There you are.
Yep, there you are. How long were you on the commission? When were you on?
Somewhere around 2000 to 2010. It was almost 10 years I was on.
Wow.
And
Wow, okay.
I was chair for about 3 years. Then I was on the Human Rights Commission for 4 years. And I want to come back home.
Good. Yay.
Hey, that's great.
So welcome
Yeah.
back. Thank you. Yeah.
And I won't bother Jenny anymore with complaints that I see out in the community.
Well, no, 'cause, I mean, now you get to be a part of it. So,
Front and center, right? Front and center.
and it's never been a bother. It's always been welcome because, like I've always said, we depend on the community or we don't know what's going on. So
Right.
it's never been a bother. It's never been a bother. Not at all. Okay, so then, and so Sean, did you catch that for now, while we have to do Zoom meetings, we'll do the second Thursday at 5 o'clock?
Yep,
Does
that's
that
fine.
work for
That
you?
works.
Perfect. Okay. And as far as I know, it should be fine for Rich Tracer as well. I'll just make sure that he knows that that's something we decided. Of course, my battery's low now, but I should be okay.
There you are.
Do you want to plug in?
I'm not necessarily near my plug, but it's okay. It gives me a fair amount of time when I'm low. I get 20%. Okay, so that's done and that's done. In terms of
I did have a quick question for Bob about the Moby mats at Plum Island. They're installed. I haven't really paid a lot of attention as to how they look, but did anybody consult with you about guidance or insight or how the pathways were aligned? I know in the past couple of summers there's been issues with huge gaps between the mats and the hard surface, so that they weren't really installed in a way that would be easily accessed if someone were to have a mobility issue or any kind of adaptive equipment.
No, I haven't been asked to go out there, but I can probably get out there tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, it's not anything that's urgent. I mean, I think once they're down, it seems like when they're down for the season, and then we kind of advise how to maybe better do it next time.
right.
But I just didn't know if you had heard anything.
Yeah, in the past, Bob, to give you an idea, the main path that they have coming off the parking lot had been put down several feet away from the concrete. So there was this sort of barrier of sand before the Moby mat path began, which was, I don't know what they did. They started from the other end or something, I don't know, and then ran out. But
Yeah, I'm not sure.
if you can take a look, let us know. That'd be great. And, you know, yeah, it'd be nice if they would consult, but let's see how they did this year before we even make any.
No, I haven't heard any complaints, but I also just haven't really checked it out myself.
Hopefully,
I'll share some pictures.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Cool. So a little bit of news about the bank, the Institution for Savings Bank expansion project. I don't know if any of you saw the letter to the editor I wrote for us on behalf of the commission supporting that project because of all the access it was going to create throughout the bank, and even some better pedestrian access outside of the bank. They were very appreciative of that, but unfortunately the planning board sided with the abutters in that they felt it was too big and out of place, and so the bank project has been denied. Wow. Which is really unfortunate. And that's kind of the end of that. I'm not sure.
It's kind of amazing that few abutters could have that big an impact. Wow.
It's pretty upsetting. It's pretty upsetting because we also had written in support to the planning department. I'm not sure if it was shared with the planning board. I was under the impression it was, but I could be wrong, and maybe it never actually made it to the board members. I'm not sure, but you know,
we pass comments on to the planning board when we get.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So they certainly had our perspective, but it certainly didn't weigh in worth nothing. It weighed nothing to them. It never does. It's getting really frustrating, but so yeah, unfortunately.
So does the bank have a goal of sort of reattempting a different version of a plan, or does it just all stop and that's the end
I'm
of
not
it?
really sure. I'm not sure if they still have any plans for interior work at all. It would be great if they were still able to implement the plans that Chip Nutter had for access to the main part of the bank through
Right.
via a lift. That would be really great if they were still able to do that. I'm not sure what their plans are, but I do know that the portion along the side of the bank that runs like where the ATM is to the front of the bank, there's not a complete sidewalk there. Like it runs for a few feet and then it abruptly stops and goes to bushes and grass. And I pointed that out to them when I met with them in the early part of the year or whatever it was. And they were, you know, Chip had indicated that that's something they could take care of easily enough, but now there's some issue with parking and they're going to have to put parking there or something, so that's not going to happen. And so I don't know, you know, it doesn't sound like there's going to be any improvements to the exterior access to the bank, but at the very least maybe they'll still go through with some interior plans. I don't know. You know, I just felt so bad when I asked Chip about the meeting and how it went, and he told me that they got denied.
So that means they're not gonna try to do a reworking of it or anything?
Well, I mean, they already did do one, you know,
Yeah.
full reworking of the project to appease the butters and to appease multiple entities, but it wasn't enough, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure what their plans are moving forward. I haven't had a conversation with Mike or Kim from the bank, so I don't really know. But I just know that the project is ended at this point. Their expansion project is dead.
This is Andy. It's my understanding, talking to their attorney today, that they may be working on some revisions to their plan. I don't know exactly what that will entail, but that they may be trying to come back with some sort of schematic renderings for the planning board at their next meeting to see that we, you know, maybe preferable to where they were going with it. But yeah, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, I'm sure that they'll still make some attempts to better the, you know, whatever they can. You know, especially for their employees, you know. I mean, I feel bad for the whole thing. I mean, I understand the whole thing.
Well,
but,
we spoke up as much as we could, and
yeah,
you know,
we've
we'll
definitely done our
continue to
part.
support. It's a historic building. It would be really great if it were to be accessible in a way that other historic buildings are not.
And I'm not, you know, completely ruling out that they won't end up doing something in the, you know, in interior to make the main part of the bank accessible. I mean, that could still happen. I'm not going to totally rule that out. I'd like to think that, you know, they figured it out, that they'll still maybe go with that.
I think, Jenny, I think Bob wanted to add. Bob, did you have something that you were going to add?
I just want to say one thing, that allows them more money to sponsor the park, but I have an answer from Lacey Reed about the swings.
Oh,
Yeah,
great. Oh,
right.
So the accessible swings take 2 people to install them, and they were holding off all the workers working together for the social distancing. Some of them were done in the first round, but the second round is on their list.
Okay.
Got it.
And so was there any clarity on if they're starting to do work with employees together with masks, or
Not at
just
this time.
not
They're
at this time?
still trying to distance them, right? Especially outside with the heat and the hot. It's
Yeah,
tough to work that with the mask.
that's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like we could get volunteers to do it because it's such a simple job. It really is. But I get that, you know, you only have the manpower you have, and if they're not having to work together, that's going to make most projects nearly impossible.
I suspect that there are insurance things that are in place that they have to be installed by somebody with the city. Would be my guess.
No, I mean, I'm saying that you know, there's people that would be eager to just, you know, hang them, I'm sure, like the folks that paid for them.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, we'll just be waiting. Well, that's nice that you got a quick response from her anyway. There's an update on that. So, I don't really have a whole lot else because it's been pretty quiet.
I
And
have
it's going on.
2 budget updates
Okay.
from, or 2 sort of financial updates. I have the handicap parking violations that went from, somehow they're all out of order. July 1st, 2019, it looks like, until March 30th. So that's the Q1 through Q3
Okay.
of the fiscal year that just ended. And in that total, we have $6,824, which was reclassed into our handicap parking fund. It doesn't tell me how many. I didn't actually go through and count them, and the spreadsheet is not numbered in that way. But I can do that. I also sent a message to Rich Jones to ask about the remaining quarter. And usually Susan Aquaviva sends that to me, but I did not get that yet. So I'll have that for the next meeting, I'm sure. And I
Okay.
also, because this is still just the citations that were paid, I
Right.
also inquired to ones that might be delinquent and may have been issued and never paid.
Mhm.
Just so we could get a better sense data-wise of how many violations were actually issued. And
Right.
the police department and the parking enforcement department use the same system now, so everything is all together
Right.
in one database. And with that 6,000 plus that I just said was reclassed to us over the first 3 quarters, our current commission balance is $29,351.47.
Great. That's excellent.
So,
Very good.
I think that's all I had for financials.
Okay. So
Does the commission
basically,
still receive the full fine for handicap
Sorry,
park?
Sean, we were broken up a little bit at the first part. What was that?
Does the commission still receive 100% of the fines?
For regular parking violations, yes.
Oh, that's good.
For fraudulent use of parking violations, that's a different thing, right, Jenny? And we haven't seen
Yeah.
any of those.
I'm very curious to know. I'd like to inquire with the police if they've actually issued any.
Isn't
Ever?
that one is civil and one is criminal or something like
Yes.
that? And we haven't addressed.
The handicap parking placard abuse fine of $500. That's a criminal fine. And so that money goes to the state and the city, but not to us at all. And the
Okay.
people go to court and they, all of that. And it's a criminal offense. But I don't know that our police have ever nabbed anyone.
I don't
Not-
know how we would get that data, but I can ask.
We can try to ask. But what I am definitely very much still wanting to try to discern is how many violations, and if they can
Right.
give us that report.
Right.
Like you mentioned, that now that it's all in the same place, both of them are using the same system. Hopefully they'll give us that report that can tell us how many violations were issued. And ideally, I really would like the police to work with us and like let us know the area, the spots that are getting ticketed the most.
Yeah, that was the report that I have just shows that it was a handicap parking zone. It doesn't say what the detail was, but last year at the end of the year, Rich Jones was able to provide me with a more detailed, like what time of day it happened and where the location was. So I'm hoping that we'll still be able to get that. That took a little legwork for him to sort of gather. I think it was something that maybe the software creator had to reissue or something. I'm not exactly sure, but it wasn't something that they could just run. They run this right off of their own system, and that came from a different system. So I'm confident that we'll still be able to at least get it for the ones that were paid, but I'm curious to know about the ones that maybe have never been paid, or I don't know what happens if you don't pay a ticket. I don't really know that sort of thing.
Right. Might be good to find out, sure.
Yeah.
Because ideally, I think it'd be nice to get to that point where we can put the data together that says, you know, in these last few years, here's how many violations were written, here's
Definitely.
the trouble spots, and we would like to raise the fine to the
Definitely.
maximum 300.
Right.
And,
Agreed.
you know, if we can't get them on board with, you know, considering letting us hire our own detail for certain times a year, you know, things like that. I mean, it'd be nice if we could. And I think we could afford to, at this point, at least do a sort of trial run of that, you know, pilot.
I mean, given the situation with the pandemic, I think maybe this summer's not the pilot time to do that, but next summer or hopefully this ends sooner rather than later.
I was kind of going there in that, you know, it's not pressing right now to have detail for the handicap spots, but I do think it's not a bad idea to pursue raising the fine, since that's something that if we have the data to support that, then that's something we could pursue, you know. We just have to have it together so we can go to one of the counselors and say, here's what we have for our data, here's what we'd like to see done, and, you know, hopefully get some support there.
Agreed.
Yeah, so if we can,
that's
Kristen,
all I had.
Hopefully we'll hear, you know, back from Rich Jones on getting the rest of her report. So, okay, yeah, we can.
So, I don't think, unless Bob has anything else, or unless there's any new business from anybody, I don't see anything else on our agenda.
Yeah, it was a pretty light agenda. It was mostly just looking to sort of catch up and see how this works and see if we can pull this off and, you know, see what kind of business we can get accomplished given our circumstances and what things we should be maybe focusing on. But it's, you know, really, to be honest, it's going to be pretty quiet for the next few months. I don't suspect there's going to be a whole lot of business for us, but we'll just sort of muddle through whatever comes our way, you know.
I wanted to ask on a personal note, did Bob find out about his permanent position?
Bob, do you know when that comes up before the council?
So the mayor made an announcement yesterday on our department head meeting, and we're in negotiations right now.
Excellent.
Good.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Does that
Thank you for
mean
the support. Yes, thank
Does
you.
that mean the council
Hasn't been to the council yet. The posting date just expired, and nobody else applied. They're not going to list it publicly yet. So we're just talking about the salary now.
Fantastic.
Giving you 2 thumbs up, Bob.
Thank you.
I also appreciate that you requested to stay with us and not move away. So
yes,
I appreciate that.
That's a huge thing. I want to again thank you for, because I think you've been a really valuable asset to the commission. And I, you know, as much as I am always excited when somebody gets promoted, I don't want to lose you. And you know, I think you've really brought quite a bit to the role and to the city in that, you know, in that realm. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
Yes,
agreed.
I want you to know I did actually reach out to a few city councilors. I've spoken to at least 5, I think, and I've, you know, given my good word. So
thank you.
I think they'll say no brainer. Bob's in.
Yeah. I think you'll do well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Great.
And it definitely, the counselors all appreciated hearing from someone, you know, who's worked with you and can speak to your work ethic and all that, because none of them know you. So it helps them a lot to see something beyond just paper. So
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, you know, you deserve it. So we're gonna look forward to that. Well, since there's not really a whole lot else, and I have no idea what time it is, but
It is 5:38.
okay, it is not even close to.
It might be the first time ever we've come so far from our target time.
Well, you
so
know,
far ahead.
given the circumstances and how little is
Correct.
going on and how little we have going on, you know, but
I do have one question.
yeah,
And this is, I thought that they were going to do some making the crossings on High Street easier. What happened to that? I mean,
That was all the safe routes to school, Jenny, right? And
Yeah.
that one.
okay.
They're still doing that. It's a lengthy construction, unfortunately, just because of the procedures that have to follow to maintain traffic. But they're underway.
okay, cool.
Okay, so it's just not done.
Yeah, just keep in mind it's only between really Toppins and Johnson. It doesn't cover obviously the full length of High Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I hadn't seen anything, Andy, so I'm just glad to hear that they're going to keep going with it.
Yeah, a bunch of the
Yeah.
trees are wrapped, so you can
Yeah.
tell that something's going on, but
Yeah, they had to do some utility work and other things first before they could do the stuff that we see above ground. So.
Right. Okay. Good. Well,
Makes
geez,
sense.
Andy, I think it might be helpful having you, you know, in our
I
little.
feel like we
meeting.
have such insider information that we don't always have.
We actually might get some answers to questions without having to harass anybody.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't need to stretch things out all the way till 6, you know. But you know, like I said, any feedback from anybody about how things are with the downtown and how things are operating with all the outdoor seating and everything, make sure that you know, that's staying good.
I will try to go check out at least, you know, some of it this weekend if weather allows me to.
Yeah, sure. Try to get out and enjoy yourself if you can.
Yeah.
Are you checking accessibility? Is it accessible?
It may be before you signed on, Sean. We had just mentioned about the outdoor seating with the establishments, making sure everything gets set up from a, you know, fewest barriers possible perspective.
Listen, the fact that they're on outside makes it more accessible than it normally is to me. So,
right.
Hey, it's all good.
I mean, I think my question would be about getting on and off curbs and that sort of thing. There was an article that I posted from the city of Boston yesterday about providing portable ramps to anyone who needed it, which I thought was great. And sadly, I have not really been anywhere in the last 3 months other than my
Actually, Kristen, I was going to ask
bubble.
if you could post that on our commission page too.
You know, I did, and it didn't come up, so I need to see what happened, because I did put it on the comments because I knew you would see it there. But I tried to put it on our page, and I'll see why it looks like it may not have gone through for some reason. But it seems like the city has just acquired and provided, City of Boston, a bunch of fold-out, flip-down portable ramps for providing access off the curb to the seating areas that are in a parking space that would be in front of the establishment. So I thought that was great. I thought it was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if that was something that somebody came to us as an establishment downtown and said, "Gee, I really have these, 6 tables out front, but I can't get people off the curb," then we could consider that too. Oh, Bob has his hand up.
So there was talk about the State Street, if the dining is going to stay extended for the summer or further, a platform level with the curbs that could extend out in the street, so a ramp wouldn't be needed.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
okay.
I don't think any of that's happened because some of the indoor seating's opened up, but there was
Okay.
talk.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
See how that
I would
goes.
think a portable ramp would be easier than a platform, but I'm not a builder. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
whatever works.
was
for the
thinking we
staff.
could get,
Right.
we could get Mobility and More there in the industrial park to maybe loan some and get their name somewhere, you know?
It's not a
Oh,
bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah. I mean, even just for some of the areas where there's not going to be a platform, you know.
Right.
Now, the Jersey barriers, Bob, they move them twice a day on the days that that chunk of State Street is closed, or how does that work?
I believe so. There are the red stationary ones that you probably saw in the newspaper, and those are staying put for that restaurant, and then the opening and closing ones, I guess, get moved.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Whew, that'll work.
I mean, somebody doesn't have to go to the gym. They can just move the barriers around. I'm kidding.
They have me
Yeah.
do it. It's awesome.
Right? Done. Like Superman. Boom, boom, done. You got to use the Force, Bob. Use the Force. Jedi mind powers.
Move those
That's
things right around. Excellent.
Right? Awesome. Okay.
Oh, you know what? It occurred to me that Sean doesn't know all of us. I mean, he knows me,
Oh.
but he doesn't know anyone else.
point.
So before we go, maybe just a quick introduction
Thank you.
to Sean of you know who you are and why you joined the commission.
Sure. Who do you want to start?
How about you? Because you're talking.
I'm talking. I never stop talking. Hi, Sean. I think we have met maybe in the community a couple times, but I'm Kristen Farrell. I am actually a sign language interpreter by profession, and my children have a neuromuscular disease which causes them to have weakened muscles and limited mobility. So my son is a wheelchair user, and my daughter is partially ambulatory, and they just finished up 3rd grade and 1st grade at the Bresnahan, and remote learning was no sort of fun for us.
Oh.
And that's it. I've been a commission member now for, I don't know how many years, maybe
At least
5 or 6
5 or
ish.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe
It's
something
been a
like
while.
that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Well,
Lisa, how
nice
about
to see you.
Lisa?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Jenny, I think you called on me.
I did.
Sean, it's Lisa Rowan. I've been on the commission a couple of years. I am still employed full-time, but work from a home office doing industry research for IDC in Framingham. I have adult onset cervical myelopathy. I am wheelchair bound, but it wasn't until probably 5 years ago that I'm committed now fully to a wheelchair. So I enjoy being part of the team here, although I would like not to be in a wheelchair. It's been good to be part of the commission.
Well,
And
thank
you've
you.
been very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Sean.
And Brian is, I think we can hear Brian, but I'm not sure if it's Darth Vader.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you.
Yes. My other voice is Darth Vader. And sorry, my computer off and on, it's sort of random. I'll go 8 meetings, it'll be fine, and 1 meeting will be bad. And anyway, I'm Brian Greenberg, and I am a part-time transcriber for college students who are hearing impaired or deaf, and so that's what brought me to the commission. I've been on for about 4 years.
Well, nice to meet you.
Okay.
I'm here.
You too.
Awesome. All right. And is there anything you want to add, Sean?
Oh, Bob didn't get to introduce
Oh,
himself to Bob.
you're
I mean,
right.
Bob
I'm sorry.
didn't get to introduce himself to Sean. Sorry.
Hi, Sean. Welcome back.
It's not with Bob.
Hi, Bob.
So I've been working with the city of Newburyport since January of 19, about a year and a half. I started as the local inspector. The building commissioner left around March of this year, and I've been the acting building commissioner and also the ADA coordinator. And I like doing it.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We feel really grateful to have him, but we've already told you that part. We
Yeah.
won't gush. We won't gush. We'll be respectful.
Thank you.
Let's not make him blush.
Too late.
It's great. Sean, did you want to introduce yourself? Oh, you already did. No,
Well,
sorry. Yeah.
one thing
Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm also handicapped now. I'm 62 years old, and about 10 years ago, I started developing neuropathy, and I need a cane to get around town. So when I was on the commission before, I came on as a special needs teacher for the city, but I didn't experience life as some people who have challenges, and now I'm one of them. So I just felt it was a good place to come back to.
We're
Well, I
glad
think
you
it was
did.
Thank you. Yeah,
Choice.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Okay, well, and I can just mention Rich Traster is another member. He's a retired PhD, so he has a lot of experience just in his medical profession of his career with people with disabilities. It just isn't with us tonight. And then our other member, Chris Carey, is also a wheelchair user, and I do not remember the name of his disability, and that's totally on me because I have a hard time remembering all the different names sometimes. Sorry. But he joins us when he can. We don't see him quite as often as we do all the rest of us, but you'll eventually meet him.
Okay.
But okay, well, if there's nothing else from anybody, I think we can call to adjourn.
Okay, we can move to adjourn.
I second the motion.
All right,
So it's 5:50 p.m.
great. All right, well, we did stretch it out a little. There we go.
Good. All right, we'll see you all in August.
On the 13th. Yep, so mark your calendars and save the same email because it's not going to get sent out every month. So just keep
Okay.
this
Okay, great.
email that has the login.
Actually, Andy, I did save from your invite a calendar notification, and somehow the calendar notification popped up for 4 p.m., even though the meeting was at 5 p.m. So I'm not
Yeah,
sure if that was like a central time thing or I couldn't figure it out.
yeah, I think unfortunately it is something like that. Someone else noticed something similar to before, and I don't know. I think it's something that's sent by Zoom automatically from the time zone that the Zoom server's in, I guess.
Okay.
So I can't fix that, but basically it's a non-fixed time. The link is valid for any time we set our committee meeting here, so it's not an issue.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
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 All right, cool.
Okay, great.
And nobody had any trouble logging in, right?
No.
Nope.
Just
No.
me, but I think I can figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you hit the link during the meeting from the email?
Yeah, but I somehow became a member of the community watching. I don't.
Oh.
So I'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Andy. I can go to Zoom and I can resend you the invitation link right now, the email. And again, just, if someone, what happened there was, in case it happens again for anybody, if for some reason you lose the email, although Ginny's right, please save that. I can, one, resend you the link. Of course, if I know before the meeting, that's more helpful. And the other thing is you can, as Sean did, actually join via the public link on the city's website. I can then promote you, as they say, to a panelist. The problem with that is I can't make sure you're connected right before 7 or before 5 because you don't really appear in my list until we're broadcasting. And so you won't, so the long story short is use the link if you can, but if you can't find it for some reason, just join via the general public link on the city calendar, and I will migrate you or populate you over to the panelist list.
Got it.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everybody. See you in August.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good summer.